we're here with Jon, the SEO master of the United States.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Who's actually been in the SEO business for, I don't know, over a decade. What is it? 2002, 2003?
2007 is when I started SEO. 2002 is when I started a business on the internet.
Got it. So he's been in the game a long time, and he's going to look at my website, give you guys some tips on what to do, what not to do. He's going to explain what he does. And he's here to chat. And I'm super excited to have you. So thank you so much, Jon.
Great for having me. I appreciate it.
Coming over or showing up.
Yeah, it's really easy to come over because we just got on.
I know. Isn't that so awesome?
That is cool.
So awesome. So SEO, tell us how, first of all, how'd you get into this industry?
I started a business when I was 22 in e-commerce, and I was selling entertainment. I still do a little bit now, actually. Entertainment memorabilia. And so as I was living in Southern California in Orange County, I would go down to Hollywood and go to these shops like on Hollywood Boulevard and grab like memorabilia that was just available there. And then I would sell them on like eBay, just all over the world. And people just, it was right when it was coming out, eBay was getting kind of big. And so I did pretty well on that. And so after a while, as I was doing that, working with that one platform, I built a website around it, and I'm like, okay, so how do I get traffic to this? How do I get to the first page of Google? So I had to learn what SEO was and kind of figure out how it all worked from there. And the cool thing about that is, like, as I was building the site and doing some of these things, I was making some sales before it even got finished yet. So it was really cool. So it's in the beginning of all of this, how it went. So
we were just hearing the word SEO come up. It was probably not even coming up then. That was just e-commerce, right?
I think it was, and a friend of mine, he told me, he said, he's like, I just read something about this website called Plenty of Fish, which is or was a dating site. And he said that they make $2 million a month or a year just being on the first page of Google for like dating sites. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's what I want. I don't want to have to pay for advertising. So that is actually the story that inspired me to actually do all of this. So it's kind of weird, the people that you meet and help impact your life.
Yeah, no kidding. Isn't that? Yeah.
Is Plenty of Fish even around?
Yeah.
No, I know it's POF.com. I can check it to see.
It is. I
haven't heard that name in like decades. I'm like, wow, I haven't. It's like MySpace, right? Remember when MySpace was it?
Right.
I think I have a video that says the Macarena.
Oh my God.
Still there.
MySpace, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's how I started doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, so take somebody like me, for example. I want you to tell the audience, because I'm still a baby and an infant in this world, and especially into marketing. And this is huge in this industry, is to market yourself, right? But if I wanted to hire you, what kind of process would that look like for somebody like me that's has no idea how to do? I mean, I can do social media. I got a VA to help me with that. We're getting some traction going. But whenever it comes to Google, yeah, I got a website out there, but where am I placing? How, and I have her working on a blog. I always heard something about a blog, I was like, yeah, throw it in there. So, but if they're very brand new into first of all, you need to have a website, right?
Yeah.
That is so important to have. But what are like the next steps? How would you do your onboarding, basically?
Okay, cool. So it's a great question. So number one, I want to see your website to see what's going on in there. So if you're like, if you're doing really well in your area, I've got tools for this, but if you're doing really well in your area and it's like a smaller area, I would probably tell you, hey, you know what? You can maybe improve this, this, and this, but you're doing really well right now, and I can't help you because you're doing good. And I'm not going to say, okay, well, I can do all this stuff for you and just sit back and do nothing. So I need to make sure that, you know, I can help you. So what that would look like would be me visiting your website, going there and seeing, okay, do you have pages on your website that are based on the keywords that people are searching for? Sometimes people have like a home and they'll have a frequently asked questions and they'll have a contact and they may have like a get a quote. But what Google wants is they want to see services. And when you have services on there, we want to make sure that those match the types of services that people are searching for. So if we are Google, the biggest keywords that people search for in the cleaning industry is 3 or 4 of them. Number 1 is house cleaning. You've got maid service. You've got house cleaning service. Then you have those house cleaning service and maid service near me keywords, which have more searches, yeah, than all of the other ones. But people also look for recurring maid service. They look for recurring house cleaning. They look for bi-weekly cleaning and move-out cleaning and deep cleaning and post-construction cleaning and all these other keywords. And so when those keywords appear on your site and they're also in your Google business profile under services, Google will match them together and say, okay, so these people do these types of services. And so the people who don't have that content on their site don't show up as well as people who do deliberately have that content on their site. So I'd look for that first and to make sure you have those on there. If you don't, boom, I can already help you. The blog part is not necessarily as important, but it is important into a way that you can say, you said you're in Humboldt County, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you wrote about how to find the best cleaning service in Humboldt County, okay, so that works in 2 ways. 1, you have cleaning service information in that blog post, but you also have geographic information in that blog post too. So you can write things about that. You can write things about the best neighborhoods in your city. You can write things about things to do in the area, things like that. And just end it with like some sort of call to action, like, okay, these are the 10 best things to do with your family in such and such city. And then while you're out doing all that, you know, we could be cleaning your house, you know what I mean? And then you come back to being home. So yeah, so there's a little bit of
I love that.
yeah, cool. Good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, so it's learned over time. But definitely I would look at some things to make sure that you can be helped, you know, and then also it's not just the on-page stuff, it's the off-page stuff as well too. So you want to be listed in like maybe cleaning service directories or other business directories, or maybe you want to have some content out there about your brand. And when you have that off-page optimization to your site, those links to your site, you raise up higher in the search engine. So it's kind of like an overall thing. And then I would just look at that and evaluate it and say, okay, great, this is what's missing. Do you need help? And then we go from there.
Awesome.
Hey, what's going on, Shannon? My name's Mike. This is my brother Steve, and we own S&M Cleaning Solutions. And we just want to tell you thank you from the bottom of our hearts. The 30-day sprint was amazing, and you really helped out our company a lot. Thank you.
You had mentioned you had scanned my website, and you had mentioned that when you do the Google search, my Clean Freaks University site mentions home versus cleaning business coaching. What would be something that could be an easy fix for that? Does that, like, could I do that myself? Could I go on WordPress and fix that, or is that something that's done on Google? How does someone do that? I mean, I would imagine it would be pretty insignificant.
No, it's really significant. It's good. Yeah, that's a great question. Number 1, you've got a great looking site. It's beautiful. I love it. I could pretty much tell it's WordPress. And great thing about WordPress for everyone who's listening is that that's really the platform that you want. I know that Wix and GoDaddy and all that are like, they're like kind of an easier barrier to entry. They'll make kind of the site for you, but at the same time, you're really limited as what can be done. So, you know, Shannon, you can do whatever you want to the site. You can put new pictures and content and all that. So to answer your question, you know, on the home page of the site, you have the content, right? But you also have what's called meta tags. So you have the title of the page that you can specifically set, and you have the description. And so that's when you do a Google search and you see the listings underneath the maps, and you'll see what it says. It may say move out cleaning San Francisco. And so you click on that because you know, okay, I'm right where I need to be, right? This is exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a move out cleaner. Or it'll say like home, for example. So right now, your title tag, the title of your website says home dash Clean Freaks University. So depending on what it is you do or what your goals are, you're a cleaning business coach, or maybe you're working and selling cleaning business coaching. So what you'd want to do is change that home word to cleaning business coaching, because then you're telling Google, this is what we do, you know, and then other people, when they see that coming up in their listings, even if you've made a brand name for yourself, which you probably have, and you probably do show up, you know, it's more powerful. You can probably jump over other people when you have that. And then in the description, you want to put something in here like Clean Freaks University is, you know, your number one cleaning business coaching service in all of the United States, you know, and then whatever else you want to say. But you want to use those words too, because people are likely looking for cleaning business help, cleaning business coaching. And I would imagine that they are. And so you can use something called the Google Keyword Planner, or there's other keyword tools out there, which will tell you what keywords related to those people are searching for. And then you make sure those appear on your site. So don't just put that in your title tag and your description, put it on the homepage. And all of a sudden it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like,
Got it.
Google's like, yeah. So anyways, you get it.
That makes sense.
Oh, I geek out on this stuff too. I love it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it
I'm
out.
a nerd about, I love learning, especially if I'm gonna help make my business successful, which then in turns makes my employees successful. Leads to more money. So, and we all like money. It's what it's about.
Yeah.
And didn't you mention to me yesterday that you had your own cleaning business? Was it a house cleaning business or was it a commercial cleaning business? What did you have, John?
I did. We did house cleaning. So I started a cleaning company in 2012. I was helping out a friend. I was a friend with her daughter, and we would all kind of hang out back then, you know, and have drinks and whatnot. And so we talk about a lot of things. And she said I could really use some probably extra money. And I said, hey, you know, I do SEO. You know, I was working for another company at the time doing that. And I said, you know, what have you done before me? Have you done anything that I can help you with? Because I can probably get you a little business on the internet, first page of Google sort of thing. And she said, oh, I worked for Maids and Maid Pro on and off for 20 years. So I can help you. She said, that sounds great. But she never kind of really took the initiative to get it going. And so after we talked about it long enough, I was like, you know, what if we did this together? What is me and you? And then my mom was moving to Utah at the time. And so from like North Carolina. So I'm like, oh, she could probably use something to do, you know, so she could do the scheduling and all that. I can make the phone ring, and she can, and Shirley could be in the field and be the manager, you know, of the girls, or at the time it was like $10 an hour. It was like 2012. But anyway, so we started that just kind of unexpectedly doing it. So it was called Five Star Cleaning Services. And then what I did is I created another one because I moved offices. I created another one called Five Diamond Cleaning. Then I created another one here in Sandy, Utah, and then one in Park City. So at the time,
Oh, wow.
able to do multiple ones, so you can kind of dominate the area. So I had like 4 technically, but they all really went to one place. So yeah, really it was house cleaning. I learned a lot about that industry and how difficult it is when you just don't really have the resources that people have now. You know, we didn't have Clean Freaks University. We didn't have the Debbie Sardones of the world. We didn't have Facebook groups about it.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was really just kind of like it just bootstrapped everything. I mean, I was like paying the payroll and all that. So yeah, I did, you know, so I learned a lot about that, learned a lot about post-construction cleaning, which I thought was really cool. And I liked that because, you know, the checks were bigger, you know.
Yeah.
You were,
Yeah, they are. They're
yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like woohoo!
Because
Great payroll.
this area developed quite a bit during that time, you know, and then Park City, Utah, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's like
I skied there.
You've been there?
Snowbird, Park City.
Oh, you have? Okay, snowboard. Yeah, the snowboards are right up the hill. I mean, not up the hill. Well, it's up a hill.
It's
Hill.
close, but it's not far. So to
Well,
speak.
I live very close to live very close to the street that just goes all the way up to it.
Oh, very cool.
I can probably see it from here. So it's all kind of very close here in the area. But yeah, we were asked to do like, you know, custom homes and multiple condo units and things like that. So that area grew a lot too. So it was house cleaning, and yeah, I thought it was kind of cool, but it ended with that particular person about a couple of years later because they really didn't want to run a business or help run a business. So I did it for another couple of years, and then I was like, I can't do full-time SEO and do quality cleaning work, with people. I can't even go over to their job and oversee them and stuff. So I still have those cleaning companies right now. I'm actually going to get rid of them because they're just there. And then so somebody else I know, she just leases the phone numbers from me to her, so they all just flow to one person now.
Very
Wow,
you should
awesome. So
probably-
you have your exit strategy,
right.
right?
Well, yeah, in a way, she's had some issues with her company for a while and employees and all that, and so it's not really going to go anywhere. I don't believe it's really been costing me money, but I've held on to them for a while because I've used them as examples and I've just been in the industry speaking about it for so long. But at this point, I'm just going to kind of either shut them down, or if somebody wants to buy them, they can. But really, it's hard to get somebody who can take care of them and knows what to do with them without the help. And so I was in talks with a few people last week about it, and then it just kind of just disappeared. And so it's just a kind of an energy blockage for me at this point.
Right.
Have those there, even though I am just very deeply embedded in the cleaning company SEO industry, regardless if they're there or not. So
Right. Well, that just makes you that much more well-versed in in helping cleaning business owners, right?
yeah, I've done it.
So that I
Yeah.
also see that you were a provider for Rescue My Maid service.
Yeah.
And um
Are you still a provider for
I am. So like basically they have I'm their SEO person if they have not created a website for one of their clients. And so if they've created a website for one of their clients and they want SEO, it kind of goes to one person. But if they've not created a website for one of their clients and they want SEO, then that would go to me, and then it's up to me to help them out, So yeah, there's just really two providers for them only, and I'm one of them. So that's kind of an honor. I was like really like stoked about that.
yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. That's a
You
pretty
think
big
the
deal.
American House Cleaners Association, I'm actually their only one. So that's really cool. I've been really fortunate enough to kind of just network with people, and then Zen Maid got me, I've introduced a lot of these people as well. So I'm very grateful for
Oh,
that.
yeah. Well, Maid, yeah, well, that's where Rescue My Maid, yeah. We know the story behind that. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
I've been able
Yeah.
to bring referrals the whole time. I haven't really spent $1 on ads ever. So
them? So I love it.
I'm going to.
Done better.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's been nice, but I'm actually in the process of doing all of that now and targeting different industries and things like that. But it's been a good run, and it's only gonna get better. So, and thank you for having me on this podcast too. It gives
Yeah.
me exposure, and I'm able to talk to people about what they need to know.
Absolutely. And help people.
That's really
Um,
the main goal. I know it sounds
I'm
like
gonna tell you that I think I was just telling Shannon this, every person that we have interviewed so far, I have hired down the road in my company.
oh really?
And
Check that phone call.
it always starts off, so hey,
It's-
remember when we did that podcast?
yeah. No,
Yeah, so
it's
yeah,
like,
I'll be probably reaching out later on.
yeah, well, that's good, but I'll help you anyway. But I really like to do that. It's being able to see people grow, off of learning this. And I've done free work for people more than I can tell you. And that's the main goal, is for me to have them be like, oh yeah, things are doing great or whatever. And so that's what makes me feel good, is to help people make money. And I think that's why I've probably not been hit by a bus yet. So that's I guess that's good. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, knock on wood, don't say that.
Yeah.
I just, yeah,
Um,
for another podcast.
definitely. So it looks like what would be like what separated the ones that grew consistently versus the ones who didn't grow consistently? When you've worked with, we already know your fortes in the cleaning industry. So you speak to a lot of people who get free advice. You speak to a lot of people who get paid advice. What was consistent that you saw between the two elements to consistently make them grow?
Okay.
Obviously, a website, getting the SEO right. We all know that blog posts are the long game. And it takes a long time for a blog post to actually work its magic. That's why it's always considered a long game. What would be something that you could tell us that helped them grow consistently? Was it you? I like the fact that you don't want to pay Zuckerbucks thousands of dollars or Google entities or whoever they are now. I don't even know if Google has humans anymore. I think it's all AI. Is there a human in the house? Right? What's consistent between the two to constantly make them grow?
I think if it's my client, you mean like clients of mine?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So if they will just trust me and just essentially do what I ask, it within reason, obviously, then they're fine. I've had clients who are like, yep, do whatever needs to be done, get it done. I'll take I'll do whatever, redo my whole site, redo this page, etc. And they're fine with it. They'll put that trust in me. But then I'll have clients who, no, it has to be this color and only this color. So as an example, okay, so I can't see your site necessarily the full thing because there's like I see you in front of it, but what you want is like, okay, say I see your book a session button right here, right? Ideally, you want that to be a certain color. You want it to be like a green color, or you want it to be like there's a point to this, or you want an orange color.
Okay.
Both are action colors, and they stand out from the overall color scheme of your site. Okay.
Oh, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, it's all for you. And so when I suggest people, hey, this is what works. There's science behind it. We want to change those get a quote buttons to to green or orange. And there's kind of a certain color, a certain shade of orange. You're going to get more conversions on that button. You're going to get more people clicking on it. You're going to get more people asking for quotes. And some people really fight me on it. They'll have a beautiful pink site and it's really awesome and it looks great and it all matches, but they don't want to change that color. And it's like, okay, well, I'm the guy you hired for this. You know what I mean? It's called landing page conversion, and so that's one of the things that's a kind of a problem with people sometimes. If I say, hey, let's put your phone number up in the top, they can click on that, or we'll put it here too. Oh, no. I don't want people to call me. I just want them to book. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm never going to hire a cleaning company ever in my life where I'm just going to book it. You know what I mean? And just have random show up. I want to ask them questions, and maybe I'm weird. Maybe it's because, I'm not I don't know what generation it is now. Maybe the other generation, the newest one, doesn't want to talk to people. They want to text and that's it. Maybe that's their thing. Maybe they don't care. But I want to know, okay, hey, I'm moving out of here in December, it's relatively clean in here, but I want those questions answered. So a lot of times people will fight me on the phone number. But I think mainly, it's that, but also I have a client now who who has a Squarespace site or something. They said, hey, what you really would want is a WordPress site. It's flexible. It'll grow with you. I'm never having a WordPress site. Never. I don't want one, and never really explained why. So it's those types of things that really kind of separate people from being able to experience that growth and people who are stuck in their ways, I think. And that's probably the longest answer ever. But that's really, I want you to see the different dynamics about why that is and the different things that you can do actionably today to be able to increase even clicks on your buttons as well. So.
No, we need to know all those. We
I
need
have
to
no idea.
know the long answer. I'm like, yes, tell me.
We're good.
It's interesting to know that people fight you in every industry. Like you can go ahead and say whatever. If you take these 10 steps, you're going to have this result. Well, then they call you like 3 months later. I'm not having any results. Like, did you take any action on any of the things I suggested? No.
Pull me out of this.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. You know,
Who'd you call? You called a professional, right? Right?
it's Clean Freaks University.
Yes, it's interesting to see. I had like I guess I just spend too much time in my own bubble, right? It's just,
Yeah.
so they have something that they want to see.
How long does it usually take you to see some results
That's a good
from
question.
from
Definitely.
It's a question to get quite a bit. That's a great question. You know, it depends on where you are and what you want. And so if you have nothing going on your site and there's like nothing with house cleaning mentioned on there or maid service, the less you have, the faster you'll see results. So I can usually show people results in the first 30 days. Now I can't say that you're going to get, 25 calls a day in the first 30 days, but I've got rank tracking software that'll put you in, and then you'll be able to see, okay, where am I at right now? And then as we add in those keywords, as we add in the content, we optimize it the right way, you'll see that all of a sudden you're showing up nowhere, and next thing you know, I'm on the first page of Google for a couple of these keywords now, and then I'm on my way for the other ones as well. So I can usually do it in the first 30 days for sure. Sometimes those will show up within a few weeks or less. So say we're working on neighborhoods in your area because you're only working in a certain area, like Atlanta, for example. I was working for somebody a while back, and I wanted to give them more signal strength. I said, okay, there's like 10 different neighborhoods in the area. Let's go ahead and optimize pages that you clean those neighborhoods. And those were up in a couple days on the first page of Google. So that just kind of depends on, what's going on there. But I also will offer people that I'll work on pages around their area too, or cities around their area. So I live in Midvale right now, but Sandy is just right here. Sandy, Utah's right there. West Jordan is over here. South Jordan's over there. Murray's over here. Cottonwood Heights is over here. So if you're kind of smack dab in the middle, you can create pages on the site based on those different cities. If you do them right, all of a sudden you'll start to see that you're ranking in some of those cities. So it really just depends on how fast you work. But if you're in Los Angeles, California, and you're trying to dominate LA in 30 days, it's not really going to happen. No. But if you think
Like an area.
We're trying to be realistic here, right?
yeah,
Right.
if you think outside the box though, I had a client.
Have unrealistic expectations too. I get it.
Okay, yeah, but it can be done in other ways too. I had a client who was in commercial cleaning, and we were able to create certain pages about certain types of commercial cleaning and then include a lot of the different cities in there. And so I think I ranked him for over 100 keywords because we took some of those services and then wrote the content correctly to where those different cities appeared and then they showed up. So the less competition for some of those keywords, the better. But yeah, about 30 days, you'll see some results.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's basically
That's
like you're
how the market
talking
is
to
going.
Google and telling it what to do and how to look at you
Yeah.
at the lovely site that you just made. Hey, I'm over here. I'm over here. It's not, it's like almost like an in-person event, only except digital. I
It
guess
is. You're
that's how I
doing
have to talk to myself about, oh, okay, I get it.
you're
Oh,
you do and where you do it. And that's what you want to tell people, what you do and where you do it. And if you can tell them that on your site, they're going to get a lot more information about you and then think of you as being more relevant than just kind of saying, I'm just here. Force it on them.
yeah, right. Right.
That's what they used to do with brick and mortar, right? I'm here. Come in. Come buy from me.
Yeah, for sure. Brick and mortar, same thing, but luckily you guys have for brick and mortars, they have an address, and those addresses are more powerful than having a service area business. So there's a tip for people also, if you're listening right now, is that if you have an office in like a city, for example, you will show up likely better than someone who's working from home and has a service area business, even though you really, even though most people have really work from home and they have a service area of business, but if you have an address, it does help you kind of show up more and be more relevant for that city, that particular city that you're in. So yeah, that's kind of a good thing if you have an office. Some people do, they have people meeting up there, they get their supplies and they go. So we've seen that happen a lot.
I think also having a post office box, if you run out of your house, having a post office box or that has a physical address, like the UPS store is notorious for letting you use their address. It's become a little crazy because of all the new regulations for addresses being shown on Google My Business. Like you have to, in the past, when I had my very first Google My Business profiles, they didn't check anything. You just plugged it in and boom, it was done. Now you have to show video. You have to show who you are. I mean, it's
Well,
really wild.
even
It's like, you have to do what?
right, even I
Profiles have
got
been
in on
around
the
for
tail
decades
end of
or
that.
more.
I mean, right, I got right in as they were just starting to do that. Like I was like, oof.
Good. Yes, that's a great thing you brought up too, because that's if there's probably one thing I need to tell people on this podcast who are listening, is that do not use a PO box for Google. Do not use a UPS store. If you're starting out now and you're just starting to do it, if you already have one, just leave it, okay? But like, it's against Google's terms of service, and all you need is one person who is not your friend in the industry, who
Right.
jealous or whatever it is. They can just report and say that you're not there, and then you gotta like get soft suspension. Then you got to show a new address, and then they got to have the video. I've had people tell me they've gone insofar as to having that video, which you're on there with Google or whatever, and they're like, okay, cool. So show us your office, show us your equipment, show us your branding, show us your car, the car that has the branding on it. Take the keys and unlock the car. Like,
Oh gosh.
it's weird. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
That would be kind of scary. Like, okay, now you're kind of imposing on me a little.
Right. Yeah.
But I get it because there are a lot of scams out there, which is crazy to me. I don't know why you would want to scam to be a cleaning company, but I do.
It's like what I did back then is I was able to kind of create addresses where I wasn't to help. This was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago,
It's
Right.
changed a lot.
more than 10 years ago. And I was able to kind of say, okay, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, when I really wasn't there, but I was trying to dominate. And so they're trying to get people to not be able to do that.
Because they want you to pay.
Oh,
They
okay.
want you to pay to be up in that area. Exactly. Exactly.
They want you to pay Google to pay for the leads or whatever it is. And Google's changed a lot. The algorithms changed a lot in the last year. I finally took my ads off. I mean, I was paying $2,000 a month and I wasn't seeing any ROI. And we kept tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. I'm like, I'm just done. It's like, it's just wild. I mean, nothing. I mean, it was just a weird dynamic of between the divorce of Google and myself. But yeah, it's changed a lot.
Well, now you
I'll
got to
say
do
that.
SEO, so you can just show up randomly and normally, and maybe they'll like that a little bit better. So, but yeah, no, I didn't know that. I mean, no, that's actually not really like a good thing to spend that kind of money and not have a lot of conversions. And so
Right.
after the call, I should check out your website, or another time and just take a look at it and send you a video. And that's what I usually will do is if someone's like interested or whatever, I'll look at their site, record it in Loom and say, hey, this could be changed, that could be changed, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'd be happy to check it out because that's kind of crazy how that would $2,000.
Yeah, $2,000.
No,
I would get like one call, or I would maybe convert one versus like in the beginning it was great. I was getting like 60 calls or so from it, which would make my lead cost way down. But it was just this weird dynamic. So then I just slowly watched it just go down and down and down, and then we put more money in it. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna throw any more money at the wall. Let's just cut it off. Let's just cut it off. Yeah, so I didn't have a lot of luck with any Google ad, and I did it for two and a half years, and I didn't see any ROI out of it.
Wow.
Not
That's
even a break even. It was like, so, and that tells you too that the industry has changed as well. And plus the economy has not, it shouldn't really impact house cleaning because we're necessary and essential, but it really has made a dent in some people's businesses versus others.
I could see how that would happen. Like for like some people could still potentially look at it as like, a luxury service. I can see that, but like you are essential. You know what I mean? Some people just
Right.
don't clean as well or whatever it is, or and all that. But yeah, I'd love to take a look at that too, because I wonder where they were sending your traffic. Because a good thing about this also, if you want to learn something today about ads too, is that you really want to make sure that if you are doing your own ads, perhaps that you have ad groups, and those ad groups would be like, one would be like maid service, and one would be like house cleaning. And then there are probably some other ones as well. So you want to make sure that within that ad group, you have ads in there that you've written that have the keyword in there. And that
Right.
the only keywords that trigger those ads are the ones that were like, so say maid service keywords. And then ideally you want them to go to the maid service page on your site. So when it has all that relevancy there, you actually end up paying less and get shown higher. It just
Right.
depends on what that page says too. So just kind of weird how that happens, but hopefully you have somebody to take a look at that. Even somebody who specializes in ads themselves. There's some people out there in our orbit who just kind of like have one ad set, and they'll just like upload it to your site or upload it to your ad account, and then just change some words and targeting and things like that. So even that could be a little bit helpful, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and we tweaked it and played with it, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. The party's over. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend that money on other things for marketing. But yeah, I was like, I'm not having any luck. And I spoke to a couple of other people, and they were all having. Some markets were doing great, and then other markets not so much. I was like, this is just really weird. But yeah, that was just my experience for sure. So we talked about results. And if they wanted to grow their bookings, what would someone do for SEO for bookings? Would they have a booking form? Is a booking form better for SEO versus not having a booking form, or just a regular call to action? In the old school days, you just had to give me a call. There was no booking or any of that other stuff.
Yeah. So that's a good question also. Yeah, so definitely if I were to do this today, I would have a booking form for sure. So I know part of the market wants that. So I definitely do the booking form. It does not really impact SEO, but funny enough that you say that, because I was looking at AI, some chat GPT stuff, and I was looking for information about why some searches will show like that AI result. And so I was asking ChatGPT, and I'm like, hey, what makes that, certain people show up and some certain people don't. And one of the metrics, one of the qualifiers, I just forgot until you said this, was having online booking. And then to get people, yes, I was just shocked. I learned this last week, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so that would be something I'd want to do also. But I think it's important as well to have some sort of specials or something. And I'll tell you why. Some people will say, no, don't do any specials, don't do any of that, but I feel like that if I were going to be looking for a cleaning company now, and there were two that I really liked, and one of them says, here's $20 off to give us a try, and they were equal in my mind, I would say, I'll take the $20 off to give you a try. And I have a client in Connecticut who does really well. She's pretty well known, I think, in Connecticut. And I said, hey, let's try a specials page. Let's try to offer something that, is maybe you change it once every 3 months or whatever it is. And that's the second most hit page on her site, in the hundreds of hits.
Wow.
Special page.
Oh, wow, really?
It is something that I think, people appreciate, even in times when like eggs are really high, or they were really high, or
Right, right.
on your own, if you don't have your own chickens, things like that. Shannon.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Everybody knows where I live too, so we have chickens everywhere.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it's just it's nice to offer to say, hey, give us a try. So I think that's kind of cool. So that would be that. So online booking, making sure your phone number is there, specials page, a pop-up that will give them something in exchange for like their name, their email, their phone number, so you can capture that lead and then give them a call or put them in a drip feed for your email marketing. So those all I think would be great ideas for people.
Right. I sell little packages. They're like hybrid packages, or not like full blown cleanings that are at a lesser price. I don't want to say they're discounted, but they're packages. So you're getting a certain type of cleaning when you buy. But that was actually new. That took me forever and ever and ever and ever. And I flat out was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then finally, this year we finally got it. I was like, everyone's like, yeah, about time, Shannon. I'm like, I know.
Does it work?
And it does work. We've seen the metrics move up and down with it. I had a really bad, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I had a little bit of a blip with my web hosting person, and we went through a little bit of a dance. He had a lot of growth and he went in a different direction. So I was small potatoes and I wasn't that important. And I get it. I totally understand. But he didn't gracefully say, hey, I'm no longer doing this. He just farmed it out. And then other things happened that I won't go into full detail. And I was mad. I'm like, I'm paying you $1,500 a month for the year to help maintain my website, and I'm not getting anything out of it except for that my website has been down 3 times. I'm like, what's going on? So,
Right.
but I have someone else helping me manage the other 2 sites, and then hopefully my 3rd site that I'm working on now. But it is interesting, and it's really hard to get people who genuinely want to see you grow. So I love the fact that you have been in the cleaning industry, so you have skin in the game and you know what it's like to be a cleaning business. There's a lot of people who I'm seeing, I won't name names, who are influencers or cleaning business owners. They've been in the game 18 months. So suddenly they've had a lot of success, and now they want to go to the next level. They want to be the influencer or the coach or whatever. And I'm like, you haven't been in here long enough to say, hey,
Follow me. You can follow them, but no, pay me money so that I can show you how I got here in 18 months. Right.
The coach, no matter what industry it's in, everyone's a coach. I've noticed that. I get emails every day, things popping up every day saying this is for agency owners and coaches and blah blah blah. So yeah, but I used to work at a coaching company in 2009.
Oh wow.
People are
Oh,
like
wow.
way late in the game because this was when the real money was made back then. So it wasn't for this type of industry, but it was for like learning how to make money online and things like that, and yeah, this is kind of like all crazy how it's like all coaches and stuff now. Coaching when that was like 14 years ago. So it's kind of crazy.
It's
Yeah.
interesting to have seen it grow. Like what I do, like the back end of learning how to create a course, the marketing behind the course, putting the SEO on the course, coming up with the content, editing the content, doing the sales. I mean, that was all a skill set that I had to learn in the last 5 years. I had no idea. I remember Jamie's been with me this long. So I used to actually be in Costco and I'd be shopping with my littles. I'm like, oh, someone bought a course. I hand delivered that course.
Oh,
So I mean, that's how long ago that was. That was like thousands of courses ago. But I was like, yeah, oh, someone bought something. I'm just gonna handle it. And I would literally move it over to them and I would drop it in their messenger. That's like that's how basic that was way back in the day. Now everything's automated. I'm like, oh, thank God.
But it was so hard to get there. Not hard, but that was a big transition. Yeah. That was a big transition. It was a transition for me, but yeah.
We all transitioned together with Shannon.
We rolled it out. We wrote it out together, and I was like, this girl's on to something, man. There's something in this. There's something to this.
And so now everybody is like, oh, you can create Amy Porterfield, I think that's her name, right? She just revamped her whole podcast, just did a rebranding. And her big thing was that she sold a course for $47. Well, she worked for what is his name? The guy, I can't think of his name. She worked underneath him and his stewardship for years. So she had a huge following, a huge audience. So they're like, oh, she made like 2.5 million selling this $47 course. I'm like, yeah, she's a huge following, a huge brand. Of course, people are going to buy her product right off the bat, right? It takes a while to kind of get things going and figure out where you're at. And, and that everyone can sell a general course, but cleaning courses are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of money for like at $47. My goodness.
That's a lot of courses. But
That
if you're
is.
doing the ad spend on Facebook, then it ends up being, what is it, 4-to-1? Or is it 3-to-1 now? I don't remember. I haven't checked on Facebook. For every dollar you spend, you get $3 back, is what they say. Hypothesis. So
Stop
you have
doing
to, so
ads.
the more money you spend, the more money you'll get back off Facebook is the whole thing. And then they're like, yeah, it's the most money you'll make, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. That's a lot of courses. I don't know how long her ad spend was or what, you know what I mean? Because I looked at her when they came up. But yeah, it's interesting. Definitely. The coaching realm has changed immensely. Even in the last 5 years, it's because I did coaching prior to this, but not like on a full-time scale. So it's interesting to see kind of where it's going. And I can see even more changes. Everyone's like, you need to have an app. I'm like, why do I need an app?
Not too.
It's just, I'm like, New Zealand has an app. You can watch everything on there. I don't want an app.
Game changer for me. I'm like, what? I'm at baseball. I can watch my. Yeah, that was great. That was great.
That's fun. I'm glad you guys.
How can people reach out to you if they wanna? How can people get a hold of you?
Me. Oh, they can visit my site. It's called the Search Specialists.
Yes.
That's because
Specialist as with an S, not specialist.
yeah, and I don't know why I choose these names, but it's the Search Specialists, and they can go there. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere in like the podcast or whatever. Check it out. So there's a link to where they can get a free SEO analysis. Usually I would like to reserve it for people who have a business that's established, that have retained earnings and things like that. I have had a lot of people who say they've been in business 0 to 1 years. They have 0 to 1 employees. And I'm like, well, this likely isn't for them because solo cleaners never really have that ability to invest, I believe, in my experience anyway. To do full on SEO because they're like, okay, they're afraid they're going to get too busy or whatever it is. But I think it really is for everybody. It just really has to do with how disciplined people are and if they're willing to invest, because you're never going to grow unless you invest something, whether it's your time or your money or whatever it is. And there's some people out there that I think we both know who specialize in organic generation of new like referrals and things. It's only referrals only. But when you have 1,500 people a month in your city looking for cleaning companies, it's kind of not a good idea to overlook that as well. I mean, having referrals would be great, and it'd be awesome. And it's great. I've had them myself, but
Right.
that's something that I think investing is good. So if they want some information about that, there's like a link on my website for a free SEO evaluation, but it's thesearchspecialist.com. If you Google my name, Jonathan Rodriguez, and cleaning company or SEO, you'll see like all kinds of things come up in that realm. So they can find me there.
Right.
Very cool. So do you have like a little mini course that people can take too? I know I had mentioned how diehard everyone is a DIY in the cleaning industry. Is there is that something that maybe might be on the scope for you? I know you offer full services.
Yeah.
Is that something that you have or are considering?
I never thought about it until this conversation today.
Perfect.
Like, oh, do you offer like, oh, you should like, go on YouTube, or you should like, do this and that, or offer like coaching or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, then that defeats my purpose. But what you were told me about today, about how people are DIYers and how they may want
In this industry.
simple changes that they can make. I just even think about that until we had this conversation today. I'm like, you know what? I could probably put something together that I could say, hey, use this, and I think you're going to be way further off along than you would have been normally just without taking a course. So that's now on my radar, Shannon.
Definitely. It could be like a $9 course, and that could be the lead into your funnel, right? For more things
Yeah.
like the automation and the drip schedule and everything else.
It really cool. It could be, yeah. I'm actually going to start getting into video for YouTube, because that'll help not only for SEO, but also just to help people in general, with getting that information out there and being seen as like a thought leader in that industry, or any industry really, I guess you target. So I kind of have some new plans in the works for just kind of not just waiting for a referral and having just kind of, I guess, do you believe in like gratitude? And like how how that works, being grateful, and then you kind of get more. That's just kind of how it's worked for a while, but I feel like I need to kind of take more action. So I'll probably have to have a conversation with you guys about how that works and how that course would work and how all that's set up, because that would probably help a lot of people who don't right now have the means to have full-on SEO, but can at least lay the groundwork themselves, so when they do have SEO done, they're already like almost there, or they're already like in a position where they're not starting out from zero. So
At least it's something, and it's a nice dynamic for them to be able to step in and lead into bigger and better things, and ultimately to get the services, that the full services. And it's really hard, and I will just say this for the podcast, we're at a pivotal point. Not only do I believe in reciprocity, we're at a pivotal point in our society where we are not human to human. It's becoming less connected, and I'm finding, and I'm going to actually have a talk about this, is going back to doing in-person bidding, and it's time consuming, but I think that people are longing so much for the human connection, just the engagement from human to human, because we all have a 6 foot radius of our boundary, right? It's kind of funny that during COVID we had to have a 6 foot, oh, don't go near each other, when that's when your actual aura is, what they say, if you are woo woo or not. But
I am.
so you'll find the coincidences pretty interesting then. So it's a 6 foot radius. So when you're next to somebody, you're picking up on a lot of signals that you wouldn't get like through Zoom, right? Or, a lot of times, and I'm on my soapbox here, you'll see them on the phone and they'll talk to you, but they don't want to talk to you over the phone like you had mentioned. And we're just becoming more and more disconnected. And I think people are really wanting that connection.
They want they're yearning for to be heard, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that, also like if you'd come to my house and you spent the time to drive there and did an in-person bid or whatever it is, and I liked you and I'm like, oh, this person's cool, I'll bet they like have it down. I would probably hire you just because you went that far to do that. So definitely something I'd love to hear more about, if when you go back into in-person bidding, if that is changing your conversions at all. That's interesting.
It'll be an experiment. I just had a move out cleaning debrief. It's $1.99. It's a debrief of a move out cleaning that the cleaning tech did. There's a story behind what happened and what went down and what got cleaned, what didn't get cleaned. And it was actually, it's the first time I've done it. So I do a lot of those types of things to break it down for people so they understand, why do you want the surface to be dry when you start off? Or what the dwell time refers to sanitation, but it also refers to how long the chemical should sit on the surface, right? So there's all of this weird techie stuff that I totally dig, but it's not for, they're like, you did what? A move out debrief? Like, it's
That's
not
cool.
gross. It was dirty, it wasn't
Yeah.
icky. So no, it's always cool what comes around, what doesn't come around, for sure.
That is, I haven't heard about dwell time since COVID, so
Right.
I heard about, because I was working somewhere just like on the side to help out somebody else, and like Like, no, you need to let that sit for a while because it's not going to kill any bacteria you think it's going to for X amount of time. So I learned about that. So that's cool.
Right.
You
We all learned about cooties during COVID. You're like, you want me to do what?
I actually have a question for you guys because I have a gym at the place I live at, and like they have
Oh,
like, they have microfiber towels that they spray that you can spray disinfectant with, and everyone's reusing them. And I remember that like you didn't want to reuse, no matter even if it was disinfectant or not, towels, because you wipe down the machines, you know what I mean? And you don't really want to reuse someone else's towel. And I'm like, am I being weird about that? Am I not remembering this correctly? So I'm actually kind of curious from you guys, should we be taking that towel, spraying it, wiping down the machine that has your cooties on it, and throwing it in the laundry bin? Or should we be hanging it up there and reusing it all day with everybody?
No, my gym actually has towels. We call them sweat towels, but you can use them to wipe off machinery like before and after. And so we just grab a fresh towel, and they're laundered there on site. They're bleached every time. It's just part of what the service comes with. If you're just using the same microfiber cloth and you're passing it from person to person, it's kind of like, and I hate to use this analogy, it's like sharing your deodorant, right?
Yeah, I think too. And I want to be like the annoying guy who's like going down there because it's like 82 degrees in there. And I went down there like last week. I'm like, hey, it's really, really hot in here. Plus, there's no towels. And they brought like 2 towels. And I just see them hung up in the same spot and people were reusing them. And I'm like, this isn't right. I just know it's not, you know. So I appreciate that. Maybe I'll go down there and cause a scene later.
I would
I
say,
just saw
hey, I love being part of
they
this
just saw me.
gym, but sanitation is it's a priority. Like, and when I first got into this industry, there were cleaners who used the same towels in each house that they cleaned, and they cleaned 3 houses a day, right? And you're like, ew. So you don't really know if was that a toilet rag? Was that not a toilet rag? And you're using it in someone else's house. It's just they don't know. People don't know what they don't know. There was the video of the guy. I think it was like Burger King or Taco Bell, and he's out on the playground and he's mopping, and he sees that one of the kids or somebody spilled Coke on the table. So he took the mop that he took from the ground and went across the table, and someone filmed it. And he
God.
probably didn't think anything of it. He thought he was being helpful, and in actuality, he just cross-contaminated. Eventually, it would have dissipated because it was outside, right?
right,
But
right.
it's the whole thought process behind was like he was trying to help out, but he really didn't help out.
Yeah, no, that sounds horrifying.
Don't be afraid of germs if you're going to eat in a restaurant.
No, it's working restaurants. I hear you. I've seen some questionable scenarios occur. So,
Definitely. So,
yeah.
do you have any questions for us?
You know what? That was actually the most main relevant question I had because that happened like an hour and a half ago. And I was like, this is not right. No, it's all right. So I just grabbed paper towels myself. But, I don't know. I mean, I hadn't really heard a lot about Clean Freak University. And so I have clients, who are in different stages of cleaning. And I'm curious, if I could offer them information about what you guys do. Do you have like a quick like elevator speech for me that I can pass on to them and direct them where to go?
I actually just teach people how to run the back end of their cleaning business. Yes, I can answer all of your weird questions about cleaning and processes and product and all that other stuff. But basically, what I love showing people to do is to put the systems in place. So we all know that cleaning has 5 major systems. There's the client attraction, the cleaning tech, the boundaries and payment, right? And then there's the marketing, and then the more branding, and then the customer service element. Those are like the 5 key systems that you should have minimum to get, and then there's SOPs, and then, there's legalities and taxes and all the other stuff. But I like teaching people how to run the back end of their cleaning business because I didn't know how to run the back end of my business.
Right.
I was just like, I'm going to clean and I'm going to charge $25 an hour and I'm going to make all this money. And I was just like, I realized I wasn't going to make all this money, that I was being worked to death. And the cleaning clients didn't care about me. They only cared about themselves and what the end result was. And I get that. We're providing a service. but there's a dynamic of how to make that go. I cater, and I know that there's a differentiation between, you mentioned Debbie Sardone, who's at the top of the kingdom, and I actually focus on the middle or upper middle, and then the lower end of the industry. I'm not here to not help someone because they can't afford the 10 grand or the 20 grand or the 15 grand or the 8 grand or whatever one else is charging. I genuinely have an interest of pushing the industry where it needs to go because I see where this is heading. It's
Right.
lucrative. This is the first time a lot of these people that have been in business for themselves, they've dealt with HR, and this is the first time they've actually been able to acquire wealth. We're mostly a woman dominated trade. There's no other trade that's women dominated.
That's true.
We're number 23rd. We're the 23rd trade. So it's exciting to be here on the ground level, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, you should focus on the higher end of the industry." But there's people for that already. I want to make sure that we push everybody to go. Definitely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
just
I'm right along with her. I'm right along with Shannon. I love, and it's not even specifically cleaning businesses, but that's where I'm at because that's of course what I'm into. But I love helping direct
Mhm.
people that are just starting out. I mean, brand new and trying to open up a business. Like, how do I get an EIN number? I mean, brand spanking new, and I just love it. It's I've been there. I've been at the bottom. Like, what do I do for how? Huh? What's an LLC? What's an S corp? Wait, what? Oh, I have to put taxes. How many bank accounts do I need? Um, how do I market? How do I join my chamber? How do I love that's what I love doing. And then if it's a cleaning business, then I do a lot of hand holding with Shannon and do an introduction.
So
So
I do.
I'm like I kind of am underneath Shannon a little bit. Um but yeah, because I was one of her students. I'm still one of her students. I still ask her kind of like, can you believe this is happening? What do I do? There's times that comes up that I haven't walked through a threshold. I just walked through a threshold of firing an accountant. Like I'm getting up there, like so there's still times that I still need her. So
That's great. I love that. That's great. No, it's wonderful to be able to hear what you guys do, and I think it's been like a really fun time, honestly, and it's been fun to be on this podcast with you guys, and an honor, and thank you for having me on here for sure. But no, you guys are fun. I want to do this again.
yeah,
Definitely. We
for
should definitely
sure.
schedule something before the end of the year.
Wasn't nothing like you like or thought it was, huh? And then it was just like it feels like you're just going live on a live.
Uh-huh. No, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. We really enjoyed you. If you have any questions after the fact, please reach out.
thank you, Shannon and Jamie. I really, really appreciate it. Have fun, and we'll catch you later.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.